How do you bounce back when you've made a mistake? Even a serious mistake where you feel like you've crashed and burned. You know, it's inevitable, isn't it? In today's video, I want to offer you some tips on how to handle that, because I'm sure you've come to realize, as we all have, failure is inevitable. But is it really failure? Mishaps, mistakes. Perhaps it's in a relationship. It just went to pot. Or perhaps you slip back into old patterns for your health and your fitness and managing your weight. Or maybe you've made an investment that tanked. Or perhaps you've started up a business and made some serious mistakes and went bankrupt or lost the business. It's not easy. And I want to honor you for that struggle, because no way is it easy. It hurts. It's painful. It can suck the life right out of you. So in this video, again, I want to help you with some tips that I have found so helpful in my nearly 50 years of working in this space. I offer this, I use it myself in my own life. I offer it to my coach clients, to my students who come into the Silva Method immersion experience with me. And they're tips that you can apply. So the first step and the first tip is we've got to recognize that even the most fortunate of men and women, even when you do your due diligence and you're doing the work and you're asking for help, nobody is perfect. It's inevitable, isn't it, that sometimes we just screw up. And sometimes those screw-ups are huge and cost us dearly, and sometimes maybe they're small. It happens, though. You know, there's an expression in life, happens. For the purpose of the video, I'll say stuff happens. Some of it you can control, some of it you cannot. So the first tip is your attitude is the sole determinant of whether it becomes a catastrophe or whether it becomes an opportunity to grow. Today we hear people say, that's all right, you made a mistake, you crashed, just pick yourself up and show up and get going again. Keep moving. It's pretty good advice, although typically when it's been a serious mistake or a really big fall, it's not an easy task picking yourself up. It hurts on an emotional level. It can get us into feeling not good enough, not worthy. I can't do this. It can just suck the confidence right out of you. Have you noticed? So I want to offer you some tips in addition to that. We've also heard reference to creating a vision of the future, to be defined by a vision of your future. I love it. I really do. It's important that we don't get stuck in the dead past. I would like to add, though, by itself, frankly, I think it's not enough. We need to first be seasoned by the mistakes of the past, the shortcomings of the past, not wallow in them, not give them too much attention or energy, but at least ask the question. So the first step is recognize failure is going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. Second, acknowledge it. Denial has never, ever worked therapeutically, psychologically, in business. We've got to look at the data. We've got to look at the metrics. We've got to face the current reality. Acknowledge the way things have been up till now. And ask this question, very important question, simple, straightforward. You ready for it? What can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? And we want to observe the patterns. So as we learn something, we can then begin to do our work, ask for help, get some more training, do some meditation, do some guided imagery, mental rehearsal of it. Another tip, I recommend you do this in a relaxed, quiet state of being, ideally a meditative state. In the Silva Method, one of the things that I love is what we call dynamic meditation, which means it's not just a passive process sitting back, which is great for your health and your heart and your well-being. You can also concentrate, you can focus, you can work with creative visualization. So you want to acknowledge what happened and ask, what can I learn from it? And also forgive yourself. Give yourself permission not to be perfect. We're not trying to play God. No one's perfect. You're doing the best you know how to do with what you have. And just the fact that you're watching this video, taking your precious time, speaks volumes about you, that you care enough, that you're making an effort. Good for you. Fantastic. And thank you also for watching. Then, once you give yourself permission not to be perfect, you want to then reframe it and begin to, as if you're a movie director, go back, look, and reframe it as if you're a director. Cut, that's not for me, that's not the way I want to be. And then relive it as if it's happened already. Your ideal self has emerged, your best self. So you're looking at the positive outcome. Very important, especially do that at night before sleep. Now, why is this important? When we screw up, when we make a mistake, even small mistakes, let alone the big ones that happen to all of us, we run the risk of our self-esteem dropping off. We run the risk of shaming ourselves and feeling unworthy and not feeling good enough. We run the risk of then comparing to other people. You know, the people that are online telling us about the yachts and how they were broke and they lived in their car and now they've got a mansion and they've got this beautiful property. And by the way, it's true. It's true well, with some of them it is true. No, stop comparing to other people, because what you need to pay attention to is, are you willing to do everything that they did? It's not an easy task. It requires a massive, and I mean massive effort to scale up your business and to grow it exponentially. And it's possible if you're willing to do what it's going to take. And part of that is getting the right training, making the effort, having a team, and so on. So let's just talk in general for that. Because if we blame ourselves, if we feel bad, we're shaming ourselves, and that weakens self-esteem, and then we don't feel good enough, and then we don't feel like we deserve it. That's the point about giving yourself permission not to be perfect. Not making an excuse, but just simply recognizing that. Then you mentally rehearse the way you'd like to be. And last tip, you've got to journal successes. You want to I keep a file. I've been doing this work since 1971. I have, before we had emails, a file about this big, full of letters, thank you notes from people telling me how what I taught them was instrumental in them transforming their lives, building their business. I've worked with some of you, people at Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, people at Bose Corporation, way back early in my career, to more recently people, singers, songwriters, people who were Olympic caliber athletes. It really doesn't matter. When I look at that, though, especially if I've made a mistake and I'm in a funk and thinking, and I recommend this to you, it pulls me right out of it. I look at the successes, I remind myself what's important here. Not the mistake, not even how I feel about it, but the people who I've committed myself to serve. And that brings you back up. You've got evidence, supportive evidence. Because at a cellular level, all of our life's experiences are embedded at a cellular level. So ignoring it, it's not going to go away. And there are certain conditions that can trigger the memory. And if we remember on an emotional state the feeling or the event, it's going to bring us back into the feelings, and we get sucked right into the feelings that go along with the failure, etc. It's not going to go away. What we need to do is create a new neural pathway. We need to make the positive stronger, and that takes repetition. So the more you journal, the more you have evidence of your successes, of your breakthroughs. Hey, I've done it before, I can do it again. And that helps to build what? Confidence. That somehow, some way, I'll figure this out. And that's important, isn't it? To have the faith in ourselves. Maybe, again, I remind you, you may need to ask for help, you may need some coaching, you may need some training, whatever it might be, but do whatever it takes, because you know, you are far more than what you appear to be. I find that most people don't give themselves enough credit, and we have selective memory, and we may have 10 successes and focus on what? The one shortcoming. Let's all stop doing that. It's important. My name is Ken Coscia. I'm the International Training Director for the Silva Method. I've been doing this work since 1971. And one of my fortes is the Silva Method Immersion Experience of Life and Intuition System. I also give presentations, work with emotional intelligence, and I'd love to meet you one day. So if you'd like to get more information, great. Go to my website, Silva Method of Connecticut or silvamethodct.com. I also have some online academy, trustyourintuitionacademy.com. If that'll be of service to you, that'd be cool. And guys, may I ask you a favor? If you're finding this of value, resonating with it, please share it with other people. And I'd love to hear your comments. What are some of the things you do to keep bouncing back, to keep your resilience, to keep picking yourself up and making progress? I'd love to hear your comments. So anywhere where it's appropriate below, I'll answer them. I'll pay attention to them. Thanks again for watching. Until the next time, remember, do good, make your difference, have lots of fun, and thrive.